In this video, we're going to dive deeper into Fulcrum One's ratio and index-based mapping modes, including direct reverberant ratio, signal-to-noise ratio, STI, and density. So in this project file, I have an arena layout, and we're going to start with our direct reverberant ratio. Direct reverberant ratio expresses the difference between the direct sound you hear and the reverberant field you get from the PA. It's very similar to how total SPL works, but instead of summing the two together, you're actually getting the difference between the direct sound and the reverberant field. So let's take a look here at the probes, which give us a more detailed look at what's going on. We're going to open the probes tray in the bottom right. And we can see here in our map, we have some different coloring that's unlike the SPL modes that we just covered. So anything in the positive, which would be blues and greens, are going to tell us that we're getting more direct energy than we are the reverberant energy. Anything a negative value or towards the yellow and orange and red is going to be more reverberant. So when we look at our chart here, we can see down on the main court here of this arena, we're entering that yellow area, meaning we're not hearing as much direct sound from these line arrays here shown here. So, but up in the seating, we're getting into the blues, which means we're getting more of that direct sound. When we look at the probes here with direct reverberant ratio, we can see throughout the frequency response where that ratio is landing. The use case for direct reverberant ratio is to better understand the perceived clarity and intimacy of your system in a reverberant space. Direct reverberant ratio is going to catch things other modes can't. Now, for instance, if we take a look here back at the map, we're looking at total SPL, and what we can see is on the main court of this arena, it's necessarily not as loud as the other areas, but it's registering that it still has quite a bit of volume there. Now, at first glance, we say, okay, well, if you're on the court, you're going to hear some stuff. But if we switch over to the direct reverberant ratio, that's going to tell a totally different story. You can see here that the seating looks good. It's in the blue. We're getting that direct sound and a positive number. But the main court here down underneath the scoreboard is showing in the negative. So that tells us that we're getting more of that reverberant energy and we're not going to have as much clarity down there as we do up in the main seating. It's also worth noting that like total SPL, direct reverberant ratio doesn't take into account noise levels like HVAC or crowd noise that you might set up in the environment's ambient noise setting. With that, let's take a look at the signal to noise ratio and understand how that works. To jump to signal noise ratio, I'm just going to click on the mapping mode here at the top, switch over to signal to noise ratio or S&N ratio. The signal to noise ratio compares the total SPL of your room to the ambient noise level you have set in the environment's properties. It tells you basically how much your program level is going to rise above the environment's noise level. Under the hood, signal to noise ratio takes the total SPL, which is the direct sound and the reverberant contribution from the room based on the loudspeaker design, and it compares it to the ambient noise level you have set up inside the environment, ultimately giving you a value that revolves around 0 based on whether or not the noise level is louder or the signal is louder. And so if we look at this chart here, we can see that I'm well above the 0 line for the ratio. But if I switch over and look at my environment, that's because I have a very low noise level specified. So I'm still seeing that variation here of the effect of the noise level on the PA, but the PA is definitely rising above that specified noise level in the environment. Now let's talk about STI. So let's go up here to the top and we'll switch our mapping mode over to STI. STI is the speech transmission index, which is a standardized metric based on a value of 0 to 1. With 1 being excellent and 0 being poor. Now we can see here that when we switch to STI, we get some of the fields that are locked out. And this is because the standard that has been specified requires certain input parameters in order to measure this accurately. But essentially, STI takes everything we've talked about, the direct sound, the room reverberant field, and the ambient noise level, and puts it together to give us a sense of what the clarity in terms of speech will be with our loudspeaker design. As we hover around the map, we can get that metric that is 0 to 1, and we also get an indicator that tells us good, fair, poor, excellent, whatever that might be. On our probes, we get a bar chart that also gives us that metric as well. We can see here. Last up is density. Density is the measurement of the number of loudspeakers that are audible at any given point on the map or at a probe. And so this allows us to understand within a certain threshold what we're hearing as far as a count of loudspeakers. It's useful if you're looking for redundancy on a system, or especially in immersive environments where you need to understand the efficiency of the panning. Let's take a look at how density works. So I've switched my mapping mode over to density, and you can see that I'm given a second parameter here where it says density at, and this is our threshold. What the threshold does is it basically says that I only want to count loudspeakers that are within, in this case, 6 dB of the loudest loudspeaker received at any given point. So up here at the top, I'm getting one loudspeaker, and that's because within a 6 dB threshold of the loudest one I received at this point, I'm only hearing one. If I open up that threshold, say quite a bit more, let's go to 24. We recalculate, you can see now I'm getting 3 loudspeakers at the top there. Over here, I'm getting 2, and down at the bottom, I'm getting much more. Let's go back to 6, which is a good measurement. And in our probes menu, what we get is our echogram, where we can actually see the loudspeakers we're getting and at what timing arrival that they're coming in. You'll want to check out our timing video where we'll touch base on how the echograms work and how you can use them to measure the timing alignment of your system. If you'd like more information on the ratio or index-based mapping modes, feel free to check out our support site at support.fulcrum-acoustic.com.